is, it's not the trash can that everybody calls it.
Jersey is
my home.
I'm from Plainsboro, New Jersey.
Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Jersey is my home. You took my answer. Mattawa, New Jersey.
Hazlet, New Jersey.
Kearney, New Jersey.
If you could look into the camera and tell us your name and where you're from. This is New Jersey. So we're asking people kind of a simple question. What do you think the definition of the American dream is?
Work till you die. And that's what it boils down to be. You just work, 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 and then you retire, then you die.
You just described the American nightmare.
That's what it basically boils down to be.
Today it does, but I think the American dream at one time was, you know, you have a nice house with a picket fence around it, you got a two-car garage, you got a couple of kids, a dog, etc. What happened to those days?
That's all fantasy now.
Well, what's your idea?
American dream? To be able to make enough money to be able to live. That's my American dream. I got my home, and that's paid for, and other than that, I just want to be able to survive.
What you've said is kind of a very realistic viewpoint of what the American dream is, but I think that there is a perception that the American dream is a lot grander than what you've just described. What do you think that is? Oh yeah,
I'm sure. People want to own their own home, they want to have a couple cars, they want to have a couple kids, they want to have vacations. I've never lived that way. I've never been able to, so it's not my dream, it's their dream. This hot dog stand is Jerry's dream.
What do you think the American reality is? I mean, there's the American dream, but have a house, two-car garage, white picket fence. Yeah, what's the American reality?
You mean today?
Yeah.
You're lucky if you get any of it. It's the life is tough now. It's people are losing their homes and they're losing their jobs and they don't have money to eat, and I'm just getting by myself. It's hard, very, very hard.
I think the American dream is about independence and opportunity. The American dream is about real chance to do what you want, where you want, how you want, and make something of yourself on that basis. Unfortunately, I think the American reality is a little bit different than that. From my perspective, that opportunity has become narrower and narrower for fewer and fewer people. And today, mostly the American reality is struggling for survival. But I'm a rabid liberal. and Lou over here is in deep shock as I say all this.
I think the American dream is one of opportunity and upward mobility. And I think basically the major problem is that government has become too intrusive and too overbearing in people's lives. And that's what prohibits many people from achieving the American dream, coupled with the coarsening of the culture, where we have become, or a major part of our society has become totally dependent on government, and the nanny state, where 47% of the American population doesn't pay any taxes, is totally dependent on government. And government, when you're dependent on government, you can rest assured that sooner or later they're going to rob you of every freedom that you have. I think there are forces within our society that are basically what's in it for them. It's not necessarily the, when I define
That's
capitalism,
why
I'm not talking about those scavengers on Wall Street.
But that's what what I'm saying. I'm not attacking capitalism. I'm attacking the scavengers on Wall Street.
Well, who's responsible for them? They in cahoots with the government officials in Washington D.C. or state or anywhere else, okay, who get together and screw the people.
And that's the death of the American dream, right there.
No, again, it's not the death of the American dream.
It's a threat.
It's a threat to the American dream, and that which can save us is a people who are educated, but they are more concerned about nonsense of what's on TV and losers, people who lose weight, or American Idol, or whatever nonsense,
or what Beyonce named her baby,
or what the Kardashians
what the Kardashians are wearing today.
Okay, so it's a perfect synergy of the dumbing down of America, all right, and the manipulation of big corporate governmental interests. All right, so
that's why I said this has been a concerted effort. This is no accident.
I'm not necessarily a conservative or a pure capitalist. I believe that we should be given the opportunity, honest work, honest pay, and that's the way I feel about it. I've been talking too much.
This store, and probably in cigar stores across the country, you can hear this very dialogue every single day.
From my perspective as an immigrant and coming from a family that migrated here 20 years ago, the American dream is just coming to another place and getting the resources that we needed, that we were lacking in our country, the Dominican Republic. Those resources being more economically and materialistic. But now when we come here and we are confronted with this reality, the real thing is that we are losing a connection that we had with nature before, a connection especially with the water, because we grew up on the coast, and that balance that we had to our ecosystem is making us unstable in this urban, very cosmopolitan place. So we are being affected, most of all spiritually, in the sense that we don't have the freedom of expression that we used to have in our environment, the place where we grew up, because we are not connected through our ancestors to the people that we're surrounded with.
The American dream is like I say, I mean, that's my own opinion. American dream is if you got $1 in your hand. If you don't got your $1 in your hand, you have no American dreams. That's for sure. It's not here, I think it's around the world.
Do you think it's harder for people today, young people today, to get those dreams that...
Oh yeah. Sure it is. Sure it is. It's very hard. I see so many young people looking around. One day, one asking me, you know somebody, any store is looking for employees? I said, I don't know. So I don't know. You go to the store and go over there and see what they say to you. It's very hard. It's also people with college. I don't have no college, but people with college are looking for a job. They can find it. I was talking with one, and he got about 5 years college. He's working, I won't say the name because it's not a commercial, you know. But he worked at that for a minimum payment, about $7.25 with 5 years college. That's very, I told you, it's very hard. Really, I don't know what happened with America. I mean, with United States. Because America is all America, like Central and South America and North America, divided in three parts. But it's very hard for young people to find it. It's very hard for me, you know. I got my retired when the mortgage come in and you know, public service, all that stuff. You know, it's all very high. Very high. Everything is very high.
Now there is a city that Frank Sinatra was born in. I've walked around it on a typical morning. I could see how things have changed while one thing remains the same. Let me describe just what I see and what the changes mean to me. Traffic here moves right on through, except for stop to boogie. So if you like yourself slow poking, find a spot in the new Hoboken, the city Frank Sinatra was born in. Colors chefs put I've lived a dream. I lived in a rock and roll dream, and I comment to myself, my goodness, it's real. It is real. Playing rock and roll, bouncing around, doing whatever you do, it's really possible to live that dream. I know what the American dream means to, you know, having a successful career and family, but for each person it's a different dream. Hometown will go, the river park that's got his name leads to a pier with waters for rain. So if you like your 10 toes soaking, make a splash in the new Hoboken, the city that I know won't let him down. So keep in mind that you're slow poking, and where you like your egg yolk broken, hey, don't forget your toes are soaking. And as I see the new Hoboken, it is still Frank Sinatra's town. Oh yeah.
Well, the American dream, as I understand it, I guess it means different things to different people. I guess in the broad context it meant doing as best you could in terms of caring for yourself and your family, ensuring that if you had children, that they did better than you did, So that was part of the American reality, American dream. As I said, the American dream I guess there are some universal components to it, but also for some people who, for example, African Americans who didn't feel they were part of the American dream, the ideal of the American dream, there was a different reality once again. And that reality was the ability, just as the broader society was, to raise a family and enjoy the riches that American life could bring to one.
And so the question that Mr. Springsteen is bringing up about the American dream, that's perfect. Like, what is the difference between the American dream and the American reality? And it's an idea, the idea of the American dream. And I think it needs refining. Because there's some people whose idea of the American dream is life, liberty, and property.
Yeah.
And other people are like, life, there's something else entirely. And for me, the thing about the pursuit of happiness, that's an Enlightenment definition of happiness. Happiness originally, like the term happiness, if you'd like, in other cultures, the word happiness was synonymous with accident. Happiness just happens by accident. Like you reach into you're going through, your laundry, emptying the pockets, and you find a $10 bill. You're happy.
Yeah.
Because that's what happiness is. Happiness is when, like one thing I like to do, I've been doing this for years, those like gumball machine type thing, you put the cord and have these little plastic bubbles with toys in them.
Yeah.
So when I go leave into the supermarket, I'll turn the thing so when a little kid opens it up, something will just fall out.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy.
To me, the American dream has always been about possibilities. And it seems that I think it's changing a lot now, but I think it had a lot to do with being able to own things, a house, car, things like that. Of course, I think there's a deeper meaning to that, but I think it's a possibility.
It's about being aware of how we respond to things. Like know thyself. It's not the way it used to be. But we know more about how the brain works and how it operates, and now it's about psychology, and not just philosophy. I think people have to. All right, I talk about. I say, and it sounds like I'm kind of denigrating, but I'm not. I think it's like human beings are essentially furless chimpanzees with some impulse control.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. And I'm not. And I think that idea imposes some humility on us, and there we have what I refer to as chimpanzee moments. And the first chimpanzee moment I saw where I thought that's a chimpanzee moment was when the President of the United States was giving a speech about health care, and he said something, and this one guy who'd been to college, all kinds of book learning, very successful individual, now sits in a seat in Congress, goes at the top of his lungs, "You lie!"
Yeah.
That's a chimpanzee moment.
To me, the American dream is, I guess, just fulfilling your own dreams, whatever you strive to do. Just for me, it's music. I love to do music, and it's always been my dream to do music, and I'm out here playing just for fun. I don't do this all the time, but I just do it for fun and to make a couple extra bucks,
But I think when things were really good and then they crash down, more chimpanzee moments. Or people become really noble and, self-sacrificing and really pitch in. Billionaires saying, tax me more. Okay, that's not a chimpanzee attitude at all. Whereas, no taxes for billionaires. That's kind of... Maybe not totally, but it's on the way. There's one individual who's running for president. He was on Fox News, and he was talking about how, being taxed. And he said, after food and all these bills, I only have $2 million.
Oh my God!
But it's his expectation.
Yeah.
It's not that he's clueless, although he is a bit clueless. It's this expectation of what things are supposed to be for him. And that's why I don't get, people lose their minds when they say, and I'm like, we're all furless chimpanzees. And so you have to look at yourself when you've said some. I've said some totally clueless. And I've had my chimpanzee moments.
Sure, we all have.
We all have, and they're like, I don't like talking about them, but I'd like to think they're fewer than I did in the past.